Hi guys, there we go. Okay, hi, it is Carla the Bubblelush, and I am going to do the breastfeeding Q&A video real quick, okay? I organized all of your guys' questions because I hate when I'm watching Q&A videos and people just like print off their comments and they go through them and they're redundant. They're like, oh, I already answered that. I already answered that. So, I grouped them. And it took a long time. Alright, so Matthew's Mama 01 wants to know, how long do you plan on breastfeeding? And I guess it's going to be a delicate balance between, I want to get to at least a year, and hopefully Hannah will let me get to a year, and hopefully my supply will let me get to a year. If Hannah wants to continue past a year, I guess we'll just have to see how things go. We're going to reevaluate it a year because, yeah, I guess we'll just reevaluate it a year. Okay, done. Books. 1414 Corey asked, can you recommend any books to read during pregnancy that'll help you prepare for breastfeeding? Yes, I read So That's What They're For by Janet Tamaro, Tamaro, and Ina May's Guide to Breastfeeding, which both of them were great. So That's What They're For is really lighthearted. The thing is, the bad thing that I did, I read both of these books like the very first few weeks of the third trimester. And then, as you guys know, I went like 2.5 weeks late. So by the time she was here, I had read that stuff in June. And she was born in September, and I couldn't remember anything. So I would definitely read them at the beginning of your first trimester, because you never know. But if you're getting close to your due date and you show no signs of like having the baby yet, read them again. Read them again. Don't make the same mistake I did. Okay, done. A lot of you guys wanted to know about the breast milk storage bags that I kept in my bag. That's a very fast car. Let's see, was there anything? Oh, and one thing to note, the box that I showed, the Lancino box, they have changed their box design and their logo and everything, and they look different. And I do not like the new design, but just so you know, like, they look different than the ones I showed in my video. The reason why I bring the bags is I don't usually use them. Sometimes I use them on what would be my Friday, because then I just pour the milk into the bags in like 3 to 4 ounce portions, and then when I get home I just put them right in the freezer so that they freeze over the weekend, and I don't have the milk sitting in the fridge over the weekend, which you totally can do. But my weekend is 4 days long, so she would be having it on like the 5th day, and to me that's just a little old. So excuse me. Also, it's because I have this fear that I'm going to forget lids, because one time I almost did. I had to get out of my car and go back in the house and get the lids. And if you forget these lids, then like, where are you going to put your breast milk? Like, what are you going to do? So, I keep the bags also as an emergency backup. I think that you should have at least a 25 pack of the breast milk storage bags, just in case. But that's just me. So, yeah, if you forget these lids, you're screwed. Alright, let me put that back. Let's see. Oh goodness. Hand expression. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There were at least 7 people that commented, why in the world do you hand express, Carla? Why don't you just set up the pump to double express? Why do you hand express? If you will watch the video, I say that I do set it up to double express. And, you know, let's say I'm going to pump in total for like 16 minutes. I pump for like 14 minutes with the double pump. And then those last 2 minutes I spend hand expressing, like a minute on each side. The reason why I hand express, and this again is just an example of, you know, what works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for you. It is really hard for me to express milk. For some reason, I don't have a good letdown. And sometimes one breast just will not empty as well as I would like it to. And so I can pump for 20 minutes and I'll still be like, oh, it's still kind of full on this side. So the reason why I hand express is to just check and make sure that it's empty. That's all it is. You just kind of go around and you make sure that your breast is emptied properly. And it also lets you know, if I've pumped for 14 minutes and I start to hand express and I'm like hand expressing a lot of milk, then like something's weird, I need to pump more often or something. So it's just kind of a way of like checking how your pump is functioning, in my opinion. Also, I think that hand expressing is a really good skill to have, and it's not like someone private messaged me masturbating. Hand expressing is not like masturbating with your breasts. That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. It's perfectly natural, and what do you think that they did before we had pumps? Like, yes, the baby like nursed off you, but you also hand express, so it's not like weird or anything. That comment made me giggle. Anyway, okay, so then I had some questions about the freestyle pump. So, Christina Lara 83 wants to know, how long does a battery last on your pump? My battery lasts a long time. It lasts at least 10 hours because I rarely have to charge that thing. It's when I look down at it and it's like 1 bar, or if it's flashing, it's like shocking. I was like, oh yeah, I have a battery in this thing and I have to charge it every once in a while. It just never happens. Is your pump loud? I'm always freaked out that if I go somewhere, someone will hear the loud noise. I'm freaked out about it too. I don't think my pump is all that loud. In fact, I'll turn it on. I'll just have it going in the background. That's like what it would sound like during this expression. In fact, let's turn it up to 9. I don't think it's all that loud. And especially like, if you're somewhere that has like, if you're like pumping in a bathroom or somewhere that has like an exhaust fan, you don't hear it at all. Okay, I'm gonna turn that off. The one thing sometimes it does make a loud noise is if you're like massaging your breast and you lose suction, it'll make like kind of a farting sound. That is kind of embarrassing. So for that reason, I do not like to pump places where there's thin walls, because you can hear certain aspects of it sometimes. I guess it just depends on who you're around. Okay. Kay Lober wants to know, do you think the hands-free freestyle is worth the extra money? Do you think the advantage of the hands-free, do I take advantage by doing extra things? And I've heard that you can buy pump and style and then cut holes in old sports bras to make it hands-free. Okay. So the thing that's different is the other pumps are like built into the bag, and you kind of unzip a portion of the bag and they're like in there. So, and then you have your, excuse me, hold on. So you have like your tubing coming out of the bag, and then, you know, those are in the cups. So I guess like you would, if you wanted to be hands-free, right? You could cut a hole in a sports bra, put the cups in, and then just like throw the bag over your shoulder, and I have some motorcycles coming behind me. Throw the bag over your shoulder, and then you could like walk around and it would be kind of hands-free. But that's a lot heavier than this pump that weighs less than a pound. And it's got like a little belt clip. So, oh, that's really fast. Anyways, do I think it's worth the extra money? Yes, especially for a working mother. And the reason why I say that, and what I like about it, is that it has it has an LED display with a timer. The other ones don't. And the thing is that I have timed breaks. I have 20 minutes that I can take. So, and that includes, you know, setup and cleanup. So I need to know where I'm at in those 20 minutes. And yeah, you could use your cell phone or whatever, but it's a lot easier to just have it on your pump, I think. What else do I like about it? Other than that, I guess it's pretty comparable, you know, between the bags. It just depends on you, where you're going to be pumping and what features you want. And the Medela website has a really good comparison tool so that you can look at what each of the bags offers when it doesn't. So I would suggest that. Do you find it's more comfortable to be pumping, for the pumping, to use soft breast shields or the hard? Shannon Tall. Okay, so in the video I said I use the soft cups, and for a while there I was, but I have since switched back to the hard cups, and I like them more. And I don't really know why. One, I think because I'm keeping them in my bag. The harder shields are easier to clean. The softer shields, they're just a little, they just kind of stay a little tackier. But if I was at home, that wouldn't be an issue. And I just kind of like the way the hard shells fit my breast better, because I do a lot of compression and massage while I'm pumping because I don't express well. So the soft cups I find really just like stick onto my boob, and that's great in some instances. But the fact is that because of that, I'm not able to massage like lower and closer to the nipple because they're like suction cups to the shield. So if you express really well and everything, then I guess you could use whatever you wanted to. But recently I switched back to the hard shells and shields, and I like that a lot more. Alright, so then a bunch of you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wanted to know, why do you push the let down button? Okay, so the Medela pumps have a two-phase process, and it's the first one is a stimulation, and then the second one is an expression. And you can hear the difference. Oh, turn it on. So that's the stimulation. It's just like really short little sucks. And that's the expression, and they're kind of like deeper, longer sucks, like if it was a baby. And the thing is that, like I've said multiple times during this, I just don't express well, and so stimulating after, like waiting for a couple minutes of expressing for a couple minutes and then hitting the stimulation button again just helps me like let down again. So, and I don't know if everyone's like that. I don't know. I haven't like sat next to another woman that's pumping, so I don't really know what other people are like. That just works for me. The let down button does exactly that. It stimulates so that I let down again. Does this make sense? I don't know. Maybe I'm a total freak. Who knows? Who knows? Topaz Baby 09 wants to know about the life of breast milk. She said, I always thought breast milk at room temperature was only good for 4 hours. I threw away lots of milk for this reason because she was an overproducer. And she wouldn't let it go past 4 hours at room temperature or 1 day in the fridge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include a link down below to Kelly's mom, and it'll tell you at different temperatures how long you can store your milk. For me personally, I am okay with leaving my breast milk right up against an ice pack from like, I first pump 9 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. But it's against an ice pack or in the refrigerator, and the milk is cold when I bring it home. It's like still really cold. And I keep it in an insulated container that came with my pump. And then as far as in the fridge, I don't usually like to let it go past 3 days, but you can let it go way past that. And I never really set my breast milk out at room temperature. No. Okay, so the Chocolate Cake 101 wants to know what kind of work I do, because I said that I sometimes have to pump out in the field. I am an industrial inspector, and yeah, so sometimes I have to drive to the facility and go and do an inspection. And I have, 2 20-minute breaks and a 30-minute lunch. So if I'm out in the field during my pumping time, then I take the 20-minute break. I find somewhere to park and pump in the car. Lady A. Liz Mahoney wants to know, has your work supported you on having time to pump and store? Okay, so my job, like I just said, it is in my employee handbook that I get 2 20-minute breaks and a 30-minute lunch, and that is when I pump. So because I haven't needed any time above and beyond that, I haven't approached my employer, about that. Because what I do on my break is my own business. Okay, lots of questions about where I pump at work. Where in your workplace do you pump? Are you the only one at work that pumps? Do I feel embarrassed taking my bag somewhere to pump? Okay, does your work have a typical office bathroom, and if so, do you have to go into a stall and pump, or do you do it out by the sink? I always wonder where I set everything up and juggle all the pieces involved. Okay, so what I do currently, because it makes me more comfortable, is I pump in my car, but I pump in the back seat. And in a future video, I will show you guys my wonderful pumping room that I have set up in my back seat. It's pretty nice. It's better than anything that my office can provide. On the days, because it's been winter, where it's too cold to pump outside, I do use my office bathroom, which is just one of those where you walk in and there's like a sink and a toilet and the door locks. So there's not a stall situation. If I was in a workplace where there was a stall, I would definitely pump in my car, because that's just not something I'm comfortable with. And I am definitely the only one at work that pumps. I'm the only one that has been pregnant in the past 18 years. So, yeah, of my current employees, or current co-workers. I keep messing up that word. Yeah, none of them have small children, so I'm kind of all alone in this. Okay, Tizzy80 said, so do you use the breast milk you pumped during the night? I'm confused what you actually do with the pumped milk. Can you get a stockpile going? I really hope I'm able to breastfeed in a few months. Okay, so what I do is I pump, obviously, while I'm at work, and I store it all in one big bottle. Oh, it's right here. So you're setting on top of my breast milk. Have fun with that. So I bring home, usually I bring home, like, let's say a really good day, I have 3 pumping sessions and each of them produce 4 ounces, so that's 12 ounces of breast milk. So I come home and I have an 8 ounce and a 4 ounce bottle of milk, is usually what I do. Excuse me, I have like something in my throat. Okay, so I come home and I give it to Chris because that's like a little job that I've given him, because I'm just like tired of dealing with breast milk at that point. And he pours it into bottles. And currently, Hannah is drinking like 3 to 4 ounces at a bottle. Never more than 4 ounces. Usually never less than 3 ounces. So sometimes he'll do like a 3 ounce, a 3 ounce, a 4 ounce, and then he'll have like a little bit left, and we use that to like either give her a little sippy cup during a meal or to thin out her baby food, something like that. And then what I do is I pump first thing in the morning when I wake up. Usually I've just fed her and she's eaten off one side, so I pump the other side. And that milk, no, I take it back, my previous comment. That milk I leave out at room temperature, usually on the counter where either Chris or my mom can easily see it. And that is what's given to her when she first wakes up at like 7 in the morning. That milk sits out at room temperature maybe 3 hours, and I'm okay with that. And that's about it. As soon as I get home, she nurses, and I don't pump. So I might pump right before I go to bed, and if so, that just goes into the fridge, and that gets incorporated into the next day's bottles. Does that kind of make sense? I hope that answered your question. Okay, just wondering what bottles you use. So, I'm assuming you're talking about to feed Hannah, not to like pump into, because I just pump into the Medela bottles that it kind of comes with. Hannah used to use the first year's breast flow bottle. My mom didn't like using them, so we switched to the Advent, and she really likes them. So, Angie Dale 05, do you have any advice, or was there anything that you used to make it easier in the beginning? And any advice would be so helpful, and thanks in advance. Okay, I had to tell myself that I'm doing this to feed my daughter, and I'm doing this because I feel that my breast milk is the best thing for my daughter. Because at the end of the day, like, it's about what is best for Hannah, and for Hannah, the best thing is my breast milk. So I just kind of pushed through it. And there's lots of online support groups and stuff like that. For me, that works. Hope that helps. Okay, and last but not least, Little Bead Wanted. Totally off topic. May I ask where you got the plates on your wall? I love them. My husband picked them out. They are from Bed Bath & Beyond. And if you're going to buy them, remember your 20% off coupon. Okay? Hope that helps. And if you guys have any additional questions about breastfeeding and pumping at work, or if I didn't answer them correctly, leave a comment below. But hopefully I got to all of them. Alright, so have a great day, guys.